All right, another episode of Stand Tall. We're in chapter 5 of The Art of War, verse 22. The clever combatant utilizes combined energy. His fighting men become as it were like unto rolling logs or stones. For it is the nature of a log or stone to remain motionless on level ground, and to move when on a slope, if four cornered, to come to a standstill, but if round shaped, to go rolling down. Verse 23, and finishing out chapter 5. Thus, the energy developed by good fighting men is as the momentum of a round stone rolled down a mountain thousands of feet in height. So much on the subject of energy. I like how he closes out this chapter with this little lattice work image. It's very interesting. You know, how the art of war is just imagery as well. All right, that takes us to chapter 6, weak points and strong. Over to an alternate definition, translation for the art of war. Master Sun says, getting people to fight by letting the force of momentum work is like rolling logs and rocks. Logs and rocks are still when in a secure place, but roll on an incline. They remain stationary if square, they roll if round. Therefore, when people are skillfully led into battle, momentum is like that of round rocks rolling down a high mountain. This is force. Dumu says that roll rocks down a 10,000-foot mountain and they cannot be stopped. This is because of the mountain, not the rocks. Get people to fight with the courage to win every time, and the strong and the weak unite. This is because of the momentum, not because of the individuals. That's why there's so much power in team. There's so much power in togetherness. You can't do it alone. You also can't think of things in isolation. The momentum of everything is what's going to carry you forward and create the lattice work, right? It's going to create your experience. Okay, December 26th, out of the Daily Stoic. Life is long if you know how to use it. It's not at all that we have too short a time to live, but that we squander a great deal of it. Life is long enough, and it's given in sufficient measure to do many great things if we spend it well. But when it's poured down the drain of luxury and neglect, when it's employed to no good end, we're finally driven to see that it has passed by before we even recognize it passing. And so it is. We don't receive a short life, we make it so. Seneca on the Brevity of Life 1.3 to 4a. No one knows how long they have to live, but sadly, we can be sure of one thing. We'll waste far too much of life. Waste it sitting around, waste it chasing the wrong things, waste it by refusing to take the time to ask ourselves what's actually important to us. Far too often, we're like the overconfident academics that Petrarch criticized in his classic essay on ignorance, the types who fritter away their powers incessantly in caring for things outside of them and seek themselves there. Yet they have no idea that this is what they're doing. So today, if you find yourself rushed or uttering the words, I just don't have enough time, stop and take a second. Is it actually true? Or have you just committed to a lot of unnecessary things? Are you actually being efficient, or have you assumed a great deal of waste into your life? Just like Sun Tzu saying, how much leverage are you putting behind these rocks and stones and logs? Are you securing the good ones in place so they don't move and gain momentum? And are you making sure to roll the important ones down the hill? Or are you letting the unimportant ones get out of place and roll down the hill and knock your life out of whack and get you off the wagon and keep you from doing the things that you keep saying you're going to do, or you actually going to do them? The average American spends something like 40 hours a year in traffic. That's months over the course of a life, and for traffic. You can substitute so many activities, from fighting with others to watching television to daydreaming. Your life is plenty long, just use it properly. So, how much of your life is the mountain, right? And are we going to climb up it and fight it? Or are we going to utilize it? And when we utilize it, how are we utilizing it? Is it for good rocks or bad rocks? Is it for good logs or bad logs? And we're rolling those down the hill. Are we making sure to roll the right ones? Because once the bad habits get out of control, like Dumu says, it's so much harder to stop them. So that's why it's important that we're always strategizing and always trying to make sure that we're sending the right things in motion.